I took AP World History in sophomore year of high school, which seems like it would be pretty boring, but it turned out to be one of the most unhinged classes I've ever had. Not because of the work or anything, no, it was because of the teachers. Notice the plural, because we had, count 'em, 3 different teachers hop in and out of this class. They weren't supposed to do that. Trust me, I can assure you that by the end of this year, not a single one of us were prepared for that AP test. And it was a very memorable class to me because of it. So, for those who don't know, an AP course is basically the harder version of a normal class. Just this time, we have stricter deadlines and guaranteed rubrics. At the end of an AP course, we always have the AP test, which you normally have to pay to take. I don't think you actually have to pay for it just to pass the class, but you might as well have since you're supposed to have already learned the content at this point. Usually the AP classes are where most of the people I liked were, but that was weird because I didn't actually take a lot of AP classes, so I didn't actually see them outside of the one class we had together all that much. I was actually forced to take the AP class because the people in charge of my classes ignored my plea to take classes at my level and gave me 3 AP classes instead. Yippee! The class started out pretty well. The teacher was some famous laid-back dude at our school, who I'm calling Mr. TJ Maxx. He gives me the kind of vibe someone who shops at TJ Maxx would have. I hadn't had one of his classes before this point, but the people at my school ate the dude up. He was a local icon. He was also genuinely a good teacher, too. This was one of the few classes I felt like I was actually invited to and actively encouraged to take notes on without having that suggestion be shoved down my throat. And it was very organized to boot. Dude was absolutely awesome. I don't know why, but the only form I can imagine for him now in my mind is Jake from State Farm, the new one, not the old one. And I honestly have no idea why. Actually, no, I do know why. It's because he left us, just like the old Jake from State Farm. In the middle of the year, he had to break it to us that he got an entirely new job, so he had to leave. I was the only one who clapped when he said that, because I was genuinely congratulating him on a new job, but I think everyone in the room immediately thought of the fact that the teacher had just abandoned them in the middle of a rigorous AP course. I think some people genuinely disliked him for getting a new job. So there we were, a bunch of poor sophomores stuck in an AP course with literally no teacher. You'd think most people would just wreck the room and start a party at this point. But not us. We were just plain scared. Scared that we were going to lose all concept of this class and completely bomb the AP test because we have literally no teacher. They called in an emergency sub for the first week he was gone while they looked in to hire someone else. And that sub happened to be my mom. Yes, my mom substituted at my school. It was interesting. But the assignments we had were given to us by the school principal, who had garnered a reputation for being very, very tough as a teacher. Don't get me wrong, he seemed like a swell guy, but he definitely had that reputation behind him. I remember I was in a completely different class at the time, and I looked on my phone and saw, oh hey, new assignments in AP World History. And then, chaos. Doing the assignments wasn't easy either, because apparently Mr. TJ Maxx had been going easy on us the whole time. So is he even really preparing us for the AP test then? Well, it didn't matter anymore, because they finally made an emergency hire to replace his position. Man, this place is boring. When's someone cool gonna come in and make it worth coming here? I know, right? I just wish our next teacher is someone as cool as Mr. TJ Maxx. Oh, please. No one can be as memorable as Mr. Yo, who? Yo, yo, yo! Alright, so Miss Goldbush was a totally different personality from Mr. TJ Maxx. She was an elderly old lady who was very sweet and just a little crazy. Effective immediately, there were going to be some days designated throughout the week where she would have pre-picked 2 students to research the AP book that we never used, and to make a presentation to the class teaching us the content they skimmed in a day or two. She was effectively making us teach ourselves. And I don't think it worked on anyone except maybe the 2 people who read the book. I never got picked to do it myself, and I don't really know how I should feel about that. On the days she did actually teach us, I kind of stopped taking notes because it all started to seem like some big nonsensical pile of information at this point. So that was fun. During her time teaching us, she had some rather interesting behaviors. She would talk to people differently, as in not equally, and there were definitely people in her mind that she thought weren't as smart as the rest, even though I'm sure we were all at the same level of taking an AP course. She would share stories about her life every now and again in the middle of her lessons, and if she ever had to refer to one of her friends that wasn't the same race as her, then she would say something like, my black friend, or my Asian friend, which definitely was not winning her any favors with anyone. Probably the one that I liked the least was that if she thought you were doing a good job or you were deep in study, she would come up behind you, say something positive, and then put her hands on your back and give a back rub to you. Now, there are a million ways to interpret and spin this, but I think that the interpretation I will choose is that this is a sweet old lady who doesn't grasp the concept that some people just don't like back rubs, or having their personal space be invaded, or being touched at all. Again, sweet old lady, hopefully not a pedo. When she did this to me, I told her to please never do that again, and she was genuinely taken back when I said that. She clearly wasn't expecting someone to not like it, since I think in her mind, she thought this was a universally seen as a positive and welcoming thing to do. But I didn't want her sneaking up on me and rubbing my back. Dude, I don't even like being touched at all. I don't even let my friends touch me. I really don't think that it's in my best interest to have a random stranger the school just hired, and may or may not have done a background check on, I don't know, to touch my precious back. There were other smaller things that contributed to her memorable person. For example, I'm in the school's orchestra, which means that we do concerts every now and again, and Miss Gulpish would want us to come see these concerts and support us. No big deal, she just wants to support the school and see us play, right? Well, one time she missed one of these concerts and thought it was on a different day. When she asked me what day we were performing, I said, oh, we just did that yesterday. And she became utterly heartbroken. Apologetically heartbroken. I didn't know how to comfort or help her at the time, but she was just torn up about missing one of our fabulous concerts. I, again, didn't know how to help her at the time, because I was a socially awkward sophomore student. So I just mumbled, sorry? And walked away slowly. I just didn't know she was so passionate about it. That's fine, dude, I don't know you. She's also one of the only teachers I know that encouraged us to use fake names on Kahoot. Normally, when we try to have fun on Kahoot, the teachers make us use the lame preset names, or even our real names. But Miss Gulpish, no. No. Miss Gulpish thought the idea of fake names was really fun, so she's cool for that in my book. I like all these stories are just completely unrelated to AP World History in general. Yeah, we learned basically nothing during this time. I think most of the work was study time for the book or the student-led presentations, but I don't remember any of it, so it probably wasn't that great at actually helping us. To Miss Gulbish's credit, though, she absolutely tried, both to make class fun, but to also actually teach us. Again, she's a sweet old lady, at least in my eyes, because I think most everyone else seemed to not like her as much. You'd think that that would be it, but no, I still have more stories to tell about this class. Miss Gulbush actually also had to leave, so I have even more teachers worth of bamboozlement to share. And believe me when I say that this next teacher was the craziest of them all. So I guess stick around for part 2 if you want to look forward to that.